Today I want to shortly talk about Chatan Yara no Kon. Chatan Yara is a famous name in the karate world ever since it won dozens of gold medals. It reached from Okinawa to the JKF. It has been there included into the kata curriculum of the Shitoryu, because originally in the JKF you could only have kata from Goju Ryu, Shotokan, Wado Ryu, and Shitoryu. So they kind of sneaked it into the Shitoryu, although it's not a Shitoryu kata originally. But so Chatan Yara, the name, became very, very famous, right? And it's a high-level kata. And since I am involved with the school where it originally came from, it's Matsubayashi Ryu, so I studied with the Takayoshi Nagami sensei, the late Takayoshi sensei. And I've been intrigued for Chatan Yara for many, many years, right? More than 20 years. So, in the Kobudo lineage of Taira Shinken in Okinawa, there's this kata Chatan Yara no Kon. And they are a little hesitant to teach kata because when Taira Shinken taught, he had many students in Japan, and they learned all the kata and all the techniques, and had many students and became world famous. But in Okinawa, they were kind of not so good at administration and and all this organization and all this kind of things. And so they kind of did a lot of bo kion and more kion, more kion, and many of the kata, of the higher kata, they were kind of on a very low flame. So I was told by the late Don Chaplin that back in the days, only one person learned Chatan Yara no Kon from Akamine Eisuke sensei. Only one person learned Chatan Yara no Kon from Akamine Eisuke sensei. And that person, he left Okinawa already in the 70s and went to a different island in Japan. So from this, Chatan Yara no Kon is a very rare kata, and you haven't seen it for a long, long time. Basically, there's an old footage of that one specific person who learned it, doing a little of it from the 70s or so, that video. And then you never heard of it for 40 or 50 years. So when I lived in Okinawa, of course, I researched it. I researched a lot. Of course, people were thinking, oh, he just wants to train and all that. But I was actively, proactively filling all the gaps, all the questions that have accumulated over, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years. All these open questions. And many of those questions nobody could answer. So I set out on my own. And Chatan Yara no Kon is a kata that is, it's rare, it's very, very high level, and because they were so reluctant to teach high kata, it didn't reach many schools. So even in the Ryukyu Kobudo in Okinawa, many of the Shihan, they would learn the program until the 5th dan, and there were also documentation for the kata until 5th dan. So all the kata were written down, every technique, every step, every stance, every rotation, the names of the techniques, and all of that is written down in there, in those documentation. But there was another documentation, and I don't know if anybody knows this or has this, but other schools, like for example the Teshinkan, and I was told that by someone who knows that, they didn't have the Chatan Yara no Kon, right? And other schools, they don't have it. Look at the time, everything in Kinji Madakatsu, I don't think they had, maybe they have it, I don't know, I'm not sure. But it's impossible to find out about it. So, well, I researched it myself, let's say like this, right? and I'm into this for about 10 years now, working on this kata a little bit like that, working it out. And, so there is a thing I want to tell you today, and this is about the beginning of the kata. And there is a rotation, and this rotation there are varieties, there are differences in the rotation. For instance, if I look at the oldest documentation of it, which is from 1974, the beginning is similar to what you see in Tsukin Tonakake no Kon, right? So it's basically after the first technique, you take the left foot as a fulcrum and rotate clockwise with this strike. 1, and then you take the right foot as a fulcrum and rotate counterclockwise to the front again. So, and strike to the front. Right? So what you do is 1, 2. And this is seen in Tsuken no Tonakake no Kon. I'm saying this because there are more techniques in Chatan Yara no Kon which are also seen in Tsuken no Tonakake no Kon. Plus, you can perform Chatan Yara no Kon with an eku. You cannot, without hand changes and all that, it's not possible with all the kata. So Chatan Yara, you can do this. So maybe they were somehow related somehow. Maybe, you know, they had the same original idea behind it or so. So the next one is, and I do this occasionally, right? Then you do it like this. You step forward, you take the right foot as a fulcrum, step forward, strike backward, and you keep the right foot as a fulcrum and return back, right? So what you do is step forward and step backward with the left foot. Right foot stays in the position. So this is another one. Or you can do it like this. Right foot back, right foot forward. I'm not going to talk about why this is the case, but the original version, the original idea, and it's done in Okinawa by one school at least, one of the top schools in Komodo, is exactly the way I said the first thing. So you're after the first, you take the left foot as a fulcrum, turn clockwise, strike back, take the right foot as a fulcrum, rotate counterclockwise, and so on. Right? And that was it. Okay? I'm saying this because I'm doing a lot of these funny videos, you know, with the Bujutsu, which is kind of my hobby and my favorite physical exercise. And I'm doing different versions of it. And I'm doing different versions because I know different versions. Okay? So it's not wrong or right or something. It's just varieties of the same thing, right? Okay, that was all. Have a good Sunday. And train more Chatan Yara no Kon. Okay.